Hey guys, welcome back. Trying to get my new camera angle to work here with something this big, and it's not working out that well. So anyway, I'll give a brief overview of this, and then we'll get right into it. This is actually an eBay purchase. This was purchased by Jay, and had the seller just send it directly here. Supposedly runs and all that, just needs service. So we're going to go through and check it out. The lift arm seems a little sketchy there. I don't know how it runs yet or not, but everything else seems to be in good shape. I mean, there's a couple little scratches on the machine, but overall it's good. But the cord's got some chunks out of it and stuff. But we're going to plug it in and see if this thing runs. This is, if I didn't mention, a K5A. Alright, it runs. Obviously needs a little speed adjustment, but that'll have to be adjusted after we get done doing the service on this anyways. And this also did come with the stainless steel bowl, the whip, the whatever you call that, and Captain Hook here. So came with all those attachments that look good. Let's see if we can pop the bowl off of here. It looks used, but in really good shape. It's not dented or dinged. Arr. Alright, so now to get started on here, I think the first thing I want to do is take a look at these brushes. They got to come out anyways. And we'll be putting new brushes in there. I mean, that's not terrible, but I think they're down below halfway. Yeah, this one's even shorter yet. So we'll have to get some brushes ordered up for it. Let's take a look under the back cover. Alright, nice and clean. Except for a little bit of funk you see on here. So, I don't know, maybe it had been cleaned before, and I don't know, I'm not sure really what the deal is on that, why that would look like that, but anywho, we need to take the head off the base here. So I gotta grab my socket for that. Okay, down here are 4 screws, big screws that hold this motor right to the stand here. And on the newer ones, they're a big, Phillips bit. On here, they're just slotted, and they're really on there pretty good. And there's really not a lot of room to get, a bigger screwdriver in there, so that makes it a little bit of a pain, but a little bit of oomph and you can usually get it. If not, I'll figure out something else. But these are coming. These front ones, they get kind of packed full of crud. And I want to get this off the stand before I really take anything else apart either, just so I can get this in view, because it's really hard to get this camera to view anything on here. Everything's so big. But to do any service on these Kitchenaids, you know, you gotta split this motor, this whole motor unit in half, which requires removing it from the stand. Alright, now we'll just lift this right off the stand. And we can get our stand out of the way. Alright, I'm going to get something to set this on. I'll be right back. Alright, so some of this you can do on a stand. You know, some of it you have to take off to do, but I figured just so, you know, we can see everything, I'm going to just take it right off the stand. I just want to pop off our accessories. And here's 2 screws that hold this band on. That's got to come off. So I'll take 2 screws out. Alright, now should be able to just pop our band right off of here. Yeah, you can see all the old Kitchenaid grease broken down. It's all over that, so that's going to have to get scrubbed up. Alright. And the reason you have to take this off the stand to get it apart is because 2 of the screws that hold it together are right here. But for now I want to pop this ring off here and we can take our Planetary assembly out. That ring just taps off and usually doesn't require, you know, a lot of effort, so you want to be careful because you don't want to bend the lip or damage it in any way. So you just want to slowly work this off. And I see there's like a lot of crud in there. You can see all the oil and grease on here. That just comes from the gearbox. The grease, it just breaks down and you know, the liquid part just runs out everywhere. The gasket doesn't stop it, that's for sure. This thing's got so much crud in it. Doesn't even want to let loose. I mean, normally at this point these little rings will just pop right off for you. Yeah, that's pretty crusted on there. Alright, next we got to pop our pin out here. And this pin holds this Planetary in place to the shaft. And there we go, it just took off on me. I'll set it right there. Now let's see if we can pry our Planetary. Oh, look at that. It's going to come right off. And there's a Planetary. You can see it's got some kind of old grease in here that has no liquid left in it. It's just crusty old grease. There's the there's a little Planet gear, counterweight, and more crust. I mean, look at this grease. That is bad. So I have to take that apart and get all that grease out. Ooh, yeah, the grease in here could be scraped off. Yeah, this thing is definitely due for some maintenance. I mean, electrical wise, it seemed like it ran really good. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like Jurassic Park amber stuff right there. Alright. Now, we can separate these two halves, but we've got to take out these 5 screws and these 4 screws. There's the 2 in the back that aren't in frame right now. You don't want to mix these up either, because these screws are different. They're like, I don't know, aluminum screws or something. But they look different and they're lighter. See, on the tilt head models, the non-lift arm ones, you don't have to take detach the whole motor from the base. You can, there's all 4 screws are accessible, with it still attached to the base if you want to, change out your grease, clean out the gearbox and all that. But on these lift arms, though, you got to detach the head. I'm going to pull these screws out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not even in the gearbox. But I'm going to pull these screws out and set them on something, since they're so nasty. That makes some room. There we go. We'll just set them on there. And that way we get them all degreased. Yeah, I plan on getting filthy on this one. Alright, we'll take out their last 2 screws that hold the 2 halves together. Yeah, fortunately there's no oil on those. I think we'd be in trouble if there was oil all the way back here. Alright, now we can separate these 2 halves. And you know what? I probably should set another paper towel here for God knows what's going to come out of here. Alright, I gotta pop this cord out. Ooh, yeah. She's chunky. Oh man, look at that. That's not even grease. I don't even know what you would call that. That is terrible. It's like 2 different colors, 3 different colors in here. Some strange combination of crud in here. I don't even know where to start. This stuff is like super thick. And I guess it all is, even the gray stuff. It's not like any of it's any good. But all the oil that you see that's all over the machine that leaked out used to be, oh jeez, just throwing grease everywhere. Used to be part of this grease, and it just separates out into this dry stuff and the oily stuff, and you'll see on a lot of the Kitchenaids that oily stain that's on them. You take off that trim ring, that band that goes around it, you'll find usually oil under there. And it's all oil that's supposed to be part of the grease, but just breaks down, and when it turns liquidy, it'll find its way out of anywhere. Even through this gasket here. These gaskets are good for keeping the grease in, but not the oil. So needless to say, that's why I don't pack these full of Kitchenaid grease, because even the new stuff will break down. I mean, you can look at new machines even a few years old, and some of them have, you know, oil running out. The paint job's already stained. Alright, I got one paper towel full. Time to grab another. It's a shame there's no, you know, no good use for old grease, because do a few KitchenAids and you got a lot of it. This has definitely got to be an old, some kind of old formulation of grease though, because I will admit the new stuff looks nothing like this. But yeah, this is terrible. Alright, I'm going to go through and get the rest of this grease out of here, and then I'll come back after I get it done, because it's going to be a tedious task. Alright, so I've got out, you know, a good chunk of that grease that was in there, but now I got to pull the gears out, and then they'll be able to be degreased separately. You know, at least I know the gears in here are good, because everything, you know, ran well, and surprisingly with this grease in there, but you know what I mean, it ran well. There was no grinding or anything like that, or binding up. But we'll get a better look at them, especially this one here, once everything's been cleaned, but you know, I think they all seem just fine. Alright, let me get this assembly off. There we go. I'll just end up taking this whole assembly here. We'll take this whole thing apart, get all the old grease out, and put it back together. And of course, we'll get this one out and cleaned up, along with the washer that goes there. Now that one, I mean, for the most part, that one's kind of clean. It's compared to everything else in here. Man, you know, I go through a roll of paper towels on a KitchenAid, I swear. Alright, I'm going to just scoop the rest of this crap off of here. Stuff kind of reminds me of Play-Doh in a way, or modeling clay or something. You know, somebody was telling me one time that, you know, KitchenAid grease was clay based. I know the newer stuff looks nothing like this, so I imagine they're probably talking about the older grease, which is an older machine. So if that's the case, I mean, I can see it on here. This is pretty clay looking stuff. I don't even know how else to describe it, but that's ready to be degreased. So I'm going to set that aside. And on this one, take out our PTO drive gear here, and the whole shaft. I mean, it's basically a whole PTU or PTO unit. And of course, I dropped it in the goo. Come on out of there. Alright, get that degreased and take a good look at that. Alright, I don't think there's anything else down in that part now, so other than grease. So we can concentrate on taking some of these other parts off, because we're going to take this whole thing apart, degrease it, and put it all back together. This cord is getting replaced, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off of here. That way we get that right out of the way, and get our lever off while we're here. Oh yeah, that's tight. And our 2 screws that hold the switch on too. And get that out while we're here. There's our rear paper gasket, I guess. I don't know what it's sealing up, but I'll take our spring off of the speed control plate also. That way, get it off of here. It doesn't want to come off of there. Alright, I'll just take it off of here then. Alright, there's our speed control lever, switch lever, and then we've got the rod here that goes back. As soon as we take the back apart, we can pull that out. I'm going to set this stuff out of the way. Man, I am so sticky with grease right now. Alright, and fold our switch up there. Now, to make it so everybody can see, I will try and do an overhead here. Not sure how well it's going to work, but if you look at the wires on here, everything is color coded. Alright, we've got our yellow ones, go to yellow, red goes to red, and then you have 2 blacks hooked together right here, black to black. So, you know, you don't have to worry about where these go when you're trying to put everything back together. Just match up your colors and, you know, you're all set. Alright, now we've got all the wiring disconnected. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this speed control plate off. And I may have to loosen this jam nut up a bit. Look at the other side too. Alright, that should be good. And I could have taken all this off here before I split the 2 halves, but I wanted to see what the best camera angle for you guys is. Alright, see, I forgot a wire nut. And there's our little washer for the switch. Alright, those are some pretty long screws, but that's what you use to adjust your speed. There's your sort of contact surface where it makes contact with the governor, and then your, of course, underneath here is where your contact points are. Alright, let me see if I can pull this off. Yeah, every other time, you know, they'll come right off for me, but not so much this time. Alright, I can't really do this with 2 screwdrivers since I gotta hold this up, but this should pop right off. Why isn't it? I don't know. But it should. It's only slid on the shaft and held on there with a pin. You know, and most times I found I've been able to just pull them off with my hand. But you know what? I'm probably going to have to lay this down. That's where I can get some more leverage on it. There we go. That worked well. Alright, stand her back up so y'all can see. Now, I gotta find my small screwdriver and pull this resistor off of there. There we go. There's two little screws down here that hold it on, of course. Of course, these screws seem kind of crusty. I don't know why. There we go, no biggie. Alright, that's the resistor, you can just set that out of the way. We capacitor out. And we take our two nuts off here. That kind of hold this plate on that holds everything else in there. I don't know where my socket's at now, but go to old red here, trusty red handled needle nose. There we go. Okay, there's one off. Alright, I'm going to take this plate off here, and just got to watch your wires here, and then your little clip, this little bar here. Actually, pull it straight out. But if that was still hooked up, you'd have to kind of guide that out of there. Oops, you know what I forgot? Got that little pin. I got so excited I finally got the thing popped off. There's this little pin in here, or down in there now, that holds the governor on. And you can see it right there. And then, yeah, with that off, this comes right out. Easy peasy. And you gotta watch it like this. There's a washer right there that only goes on the end of the armature. It just stuck to the bushing this time. Get the dust shield out. Alright. Let's see if we can pop our armature out of here. We may have to, I may have to back the camera up a bit, but we may have to drive it out because it's on a bearing, and a bearing fits inside of the housing. It's not pressed in, you know what I mean? But it's sometimes it sticks in there pretty good. So I'm just going to give it a little tap. You know, not a big one because we don't want to do any damage to the armature. We're just going to give it a little tap to try to knock it free. I can't get it at this angle. Sorry guys, I have to ruin your view here because I just can't get it left-handed. Alright, let's do this again. Take two. Wow. Alright, so that's in there. A little harder than I suspected. I just need to hit it a little harder with something a little more durable. And there it goes. Yeah, I just need a little extra persuasion. There we go. Now you can check the bearing, which seems to be alright. Check the armature, which has just the slightest amount of wear. So we get this all cleaned up and polished up. That'll be good as new. Alright, let's change this camera angle again. And get that washer out that just fell. Actually, there should be another one. It's just the spring of the washer that went on the end of here. Alright, I'm going to pull the leads off of the brush holders here. Alright, there's one. You can see that one basically wrapped around, and this went to that last wire nut that we took off. And then we have one more here. Alright, so we'll get that one off. I believe that one just goes to the field coil. Oh, I forgot our cord connections are still here. I gotta get these out of the way. Alright, there's that one. And the other one. Now, these are color coded too, black and white. Alright, just pull our cord right through the bottom. And you can see where your cord connects, you got a black and a white. Because most power cords, have a black and white. The Kitchenaid ones, they do have a black and white. Of course, they don't sell the cords for these anymore with the part made to fit in there. But the more modern ones will actually fit. It's harder to get them in the slot, but they do have the ground thing. You just have to cut the clips off the end, and you can ground it and everything else. Wow, these usually spin free. Guess not today. Wow, they're really on there. Alright, with these loosened up, you can pull these right out. And with all your clips and wires disconnected, you can pull your field coil right out. Alright, so this is ready to be cleaned out now. I get this all degreased in here. It's just looking pretty bad. That's some chunky stuff. I hope it'll come right out. Anyways, I'm going to go tell we get everything all cleaned up and degreased, so I'll be back once I get all of that done.
It's kind of hard to talk right now. Honey, why you crying? Is everything okay? I gotta whisper 'cause I can't be too loud. Well, my girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish she was you, and I guess we never really moved on. It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet, coming from the lips of an angel. Hearing those words, it makes me weak. Letters on, never wanna say goodbye, but girl, you make it hard to be faithful with the lips of an angel. It's funny that you're calling me tonight, and yes, I've dreamt of you too. Does he know you're talking to me? Would start a fight. No, I don't think she has a clue. Well, my girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish she was you, and I guess we never really moved on. It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet, coming from the lips of an angel. Hearing those words, it makes me weak, and I never wanna say goodbye, but girl, you make it hard to be faithful. The lips of an angel. It's really good to hear your voice saying my name. It sounds so sweet, coming from the lips of an angel. Hearing those words.
Alright, aside from a final wipe off on here, this one is done and ready to go. We've got everything back together. We've got our parts for the lift arm mechanism. That's all lubricated. New grease in the gearbox. You know, like I said, you guys watch a video and you see this, don't be intimidated. I mean, it takes a while. It's a mess, but it's only grease. You know, it'll wash off. So, you know, don't be afraid to attempt this on your own. We got our speed adjusted. Everything has been checked. The feet are good on here, so we're going to leave the feet alone. And let's go ahead and just fire this up and give it a listen to. Alright, so as you see, we've got a decent amount of speed control on here. You know, everything works like it's supposed to. It's nice and smooth. You know, Gearbox is loving all that new grease, as is the Planetary. So, anyways, we're going to get this one wiped down again and get it ready to send back to Jay. And if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And as always, we will see you on the next one. Thanks.